Hello there, it's 12 noon. Welcome to today's edition of Pan-African News with me, Ivy. Abena, Dede, Narki. We are live across 46 African countries and some part of Europe. We are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. Now let's move straight to our headlines. Coalition of private transport operators suspends strike after hours of sit-down protests that shut down transportation in some parts of the country. But we have footages attached to this particular story. Parliament returns on Tuesday to debate and decide the fate of a 2022 budget statement. We'll take a look at implications and behavior of Parliament. Now also coming up, experts in the agribusiness sector accuses government of failing to implement promised policies in the 2021 budget. We do have details of these stories and many more, including some stories in the world of business, international sports and entertainment. Do stay with us.
Hello? Why? My wife comes and send a message. Your face is going to hello? What's happened?
It's a chunk who be up when I say what? I dare say,
Miss I'm afraid. I'm so here too. You have not text messages here. And my office also. I'm trying to tell you, she says, I
mean, so we a guy manu and may you who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Yet to borehole, fill, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, ye be, Frey 0240 333 111 and NASA 0244 144 82.
No swimming pool, we see. We want to, you be there. Family Drilling now. Family Drilling.
Breakfast is your last shit.
African Center for Capacity Building, AFCAP, organizes the following executive and advanced certificate programs like Executive Certificate in Project Management, Executive Certificate in Human Resource Management, Executive Certificate in Real Estate and Property Management, Executive Certificate in Data and Records Keeping, Executive Certificate in Monitoring and Evaluation, Executive Certificate in Logistics and Transport Management, Executive Certificate in CCTV Monitoring and Installation. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority. For registration and enquiries, please call 0244 405047, 0242 135523. We have our branches in Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, and Wa. Saturdays and weekdays sessions are available. Admission is still in progress. Enroll now. Join the African professionals. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
Thank you for choosing to stay with us. You're still watching Pan African News live from our studios here, 48 Swanika Street, Abena, Accra, Ghana. Anchoring the news is me, Ivy Abena, Dede, Narki. The news in detail. Some commuters at La Paz, a suburb of Accra, are stranded at the bus station due to the decision by the Ghana Private Road Transport Union to lay down VR2s in protest of the recent fuel price hike. Now, according to them, the strike, which has since been called off, is an exceedingly worrying issue which affects their day-to-day activities.
The Coalition of Private Transport Operators recently embarked on a sit-down strike as part of measures to compel the government to reduce fuel prices. The group says government refused to heed their concerns after 3 consecutive meetings, and therefore no commercial bus will work effective today, December 6, 2021. According to leadership of the coalition, the decision holds until the government sits with them for an amicable resolution of the impasse. Our news team visited La Paz and picked the thought of some commuters who were left unattended as a result of today's strike. Bismarck also raised concern over the exceedingly worrying situation and called on government to come to their aid by reducing fuel prices drastically. Others shared similar concerns.
Abena fix your mind. Don't fix your mind as see a drama for Musmunya Juma. And Ranty a quad, my mother a quad man. No one to me quad, you see no man in your scar, no man a cosso. You were attitude you man was seeing you now, man, you have back on such a drink. I'm on point to us on money, Yana. I was with us, a man, a coswa, young Ranty and Mama, Yahoba Twain. That's the idea. We wake
up this morning to receive a release from commercial transport operators here in Ghana, stating that all commercial transport activities should be halted effective this morning. We are here at the La Paz transport station to actually assess the situation and speak to some drivers whether they will or not adhere to the directives. And as you can see, these are vehicles that are parked over here at the station, not working. All is that they are following that directive by the release that came earlier this morning. Oh, I just want to go to the house to come and find something to sleep, rest my body. And don't you think you are punishing workers today? No. It's not the workers, it's the government. Because the fuel price is very, very high. So we want to do demonstration to the government to reduce the fuel givers. The president don't know that we are on demonstration. That is why. So now, if you pick up or if you take up any passengers that come across to the station, we'll drop them down. Then you come and join us because we're a union member. You see, once you're a union member, you have to go by the rules and the regulations governing the union. It's not illegal. We never attack the passenger, we're attacking our member. Before we agree to join the union, it means we agree to accept the rules and regulations.
I'm so frustrated. I need to get to work. I report to work exactly 7. Now it's almost 8 and I haven't gotten a car to work.
And what have the drivers been telling you?
They are saying they are not working till tomorrow, which I don't know what to do next.
Were you aware about this particular notice?
No, I got to know this morning. Because it was a challenge for me to even get a car to La Paz. And then when I came to La Paz, this is the situation at hand. And there's nothing I can do now. And even if you want a boat or Uber, you can't even get access to one. And then their prices are so outrageous now.
So what would be the intervention that you need to...
Sorry?
What would be the intervention you would like to call for?
Okay, so I'll plead with the government to just hear the drivers out. The work hand in hand with the government, so we should just hear them out.
But then I had to walk from Banyard to this place, and then I had to work with my friend, and then I didn't know what was going on, so I've been here for like 2 hours and more. Yeah.
So the issue is that drivers and mates or commercial vehicles are not working today.
Yes.
What are you going to do about that?
Right now we don't know what's going on. So I think the government has to come and then help us out because we will not be able to go to work anymore.
Chief, share with me, how has this affected your means of transportation this morning?
The commercial drivers, as you already know, have been the major source of our transportation. So once they are on strike, it means it's going to be very hard to get to work, as we are experiencing now. So we plead with the government to come to our aid and then make at least some negotiations to ensure that their needs are met, and then we also get a chance to go to work. Because if you're not able to go to work, then why are we outside actually? Yes. So we are pleading with the government to come to our aid and then solve this issue out.
So what is going to be the means of transport to your location this morning?
This morning I'm planning on getting a friend to come and pick me, or I'll call for my company so they come and pick me. That's the main source, yes.
Okay, so there's a few passengers who are stranded here at La Paz, sharing with us their concerns and how frustrated they are this morning at La Paz station. I still have one of them, Chief. Thank you for joining us, but can you tell me how frustrated you are this morning?
It's been a while that we have been applying this rule, but for now it seems the union are doing the right thing, because paying for your fare to wherever you are going, and I think before, let me say, after the month is over, you can't even get your salary, and you still want to go to work, because that's where you get what you eat and to save something in the house. But for now, we are not seeing anything that the government is doing to help. So I think what they are doing is right, and they need to sit down with them, do something about it, and let's see what we will all come to the conclusion of it.
So this has been a concern by some drivers here at the La Paz station and some passengers here at the station. They want government to reverse this on the matters related to increment of fuel prices. George Johnson for Pan-African Television.
Well, strike. Let's move straight to the OT region to see the situation before the strike was suspended.
Nema bebre atosi e wo ka ho ebi se bi wo DPL fo aba ebi wo the president Rosef ko nyina cheche nema bebre enu nyina so e ka ho ana kwan so mo ya no demarcation so e ma nda ho se be ya akwan so azen e happen emrasi mai ti aba so nyina so na yakọ yanim se de mo ka medananse asema strike nyina na yako strike no serious say ya nko strike na government hu say ya ne abra because ya adwuma egu keke ti say me ka say me to fuel a 4.2 na ayema enduru afarwa efficiency na me son top ansa na maduru nkrenkrom nti eno nti na ya nyina ya strike na ya ni age say ya strike na government ehwe na on mo bibiam phone any tax no because ya nyina nkwanta ya so ya ne abra ya wo mu nti ne ya ti no.
We have been joined in on phone by our OT regional correspondent, Abdul Samali. Abdul, good afternoon. Hello, Abdul. Abdul, good afternoon. All right, if you can hear me, tell me the impact of the strike in the OT region before it was called off. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Abdul Samali, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, thank you for joining us. Abdul, quick one, tell us the impact of the strike in the OT region before it was called off.
Okay. According to the message from the GPRTU yesterday, the drivers was eager to embark on the strike this morning. Most of the drivers in the region was ready to support or embark on the strike. Dambai to Accra, the cars that are supposed to move were not working. The drivers, according to them, they said unless they hear information from their bosses or from the headquarters before they will be able to work. And then in Kwanta to Dambai to the same thing. From Dambai to Accra, and then from Nkwanta to Accra, the cars were not working. According to the drivers too, they were saying the reason for the strike here is listen, the fuel prices that the government have been increasing every day and night, it's really affecting their work. And the problem is whenever they increase the fuel price, they don't increase the lorry fare. That is the main or their headache on the strike. Hello, can you hear me?
Abdul, I can hear you. Go ahead.
So most of the drivers were really annoying. Over here, let me say, most of the people in the community are farmers. And checking out the food stuff that the drivers need to pick around the areas, most of the passengers who were worried that their food stuff or their market goods will spoil. And the passengers who were talking, pleading the government should really work or reduce the fuel prices for the drivers to be able to work so that the country will be safe for them.
Abdul, go ahead.
Okay. Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
The GPRTU boss in the region here also lamented on the strike. Well, according to him, he said they have been asking the government for this favor, but since from them, it's like the government has turned deaf ear on their problems. And this time around, they will make sure that he will listen to them, or he's supposed to do the necessary things before the strike will be over. Other than that, they will not stop it till the fuel prices will be reduced, or they will increase the lorry fares for the passengers to be able to, for the safety of the work.
All right, Abdul, is the region aware that the strike has been called off?
Currently, some of the drivers are not aware. As I'm speaking right now, there are so many cars parked down, that especially the cars that are supposed to move from Dambai to Accra, and then from Nkwanta to Accra, from Kachi to Accra, the buses are not moving.
Okay, so what is the mood? What is the current situation?
The whole place is, let me just say, the passengers are worried because some people are the business people are there, which supposed to do their daily activities. You know, some people used to travel here and there before they can earn their daily bread. And when this happens like this, it really worries a lot. So let me just say, the atmosphere is very worryable.
Abdul Samari, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. All right, so we've been in conversation with regional correspondent. We do know that earlier this morning, commercial transport operators began a sit-down strike, attributing it to the fact that the government has not been able to scrap some levies on fuel, and we also know that the strike has been suspended. And so that was our OT regional correspondent detailing us on what is happening in the OT region. Now let's go to the Northern region and know the current situation with regards to the strike.
Why they are increasing the fuel every day, every day. Can we speak? Yeah, you can speak to me.
Okay, hurry.
Okay.
I'm speaking from Tamale, and we are demonstrating because day in day out, fuel got increased, and we get our daily bread through the fuel. When the fuel is increasing every day, day in day out, we are not making it on the road. So we are speaking to the government to reduce to see to it.
Hopefully, the president is the part of the nation. And whatever papers that we have, he is the first person in position to see how best our best could be resolved. So in case he turns down our request that he cannot do anything about the press, the only option left for us is to come out, go ahead and increase law affairs in the country. That is the last option. This is the last option. We don't want to go there. Okay. Why we don't want to go there is simply because you and I know that the moment we go ahead to increase law affairs in the country, it will go a long way and affect the ordinary Ghanaian. That is, all goods and services, foodstuffs, everything will rise up. So this is what we want to avoid by not going ahead to increase law affairs. But that is the last option. If the government refuses to address our concerns, that's the last option. We have no any other alternative but to go ahead and increase law affairs in the country.
And your last word, or what advice do you have for the government?
The advice is the government should listen to our concerns. That is, by listening to whatever presentation that will be made by our leaders. That we are not seeking for the scrapping of the taxes for our own self as transport operators. Because currently there is enough already hardship in the country, of which we don't want to cause any other havoc by imposing other hardships on the citizen. You understand? So we want the cooperation of the government. What we are asking for, if the government comes out to accept our request, it will go a long way in protecting the image of the government that actually is a listening government. So the advice is the government should listen to us from the economic point of view, but not from what the government would rather get from the taxes.
Now, correspondent Abdul Majid. Abdul, good afternoon. Tell us the very latest. What is happening in the northern region?
Yeah, northern region. This morning, everything is going on well. The drivers and passengers are moving with their daily activities. But the issue was, it was only the Northern Regional GPRTU executive who was aware of the strike. Most people, especially the drivers, wasn't aware that they are called of the strike. So some of them came out into the street of Tamale to stop any car who were taking passengers. So that has really bring a lot of confusion in the northern region here. It was around 12 p.m., whereby the executive now come to town and plead with their staff to stop this distraction.
All right, Abdul, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So, what is the current situation? We understand that people are protesting, yes, over the suspension of the strike.
Yeah, the current situation is it is just now that the executive has called on those people to the regional office of the GPRTU in the northern region to tell them that they have called off the strike. But according to them, that they will not listen to their leaders if the necessary things doesn't put on place to favor the citizens.
All right. Necessary things. Can you come again?
Yeah, the necessary things that made them to go on strike, like to reduce the fuel prices or remove the tax imposed on fuel, so that everything will go normal. Otherwise, that they are waiting for the meeting, whereby the executive who said that they are going to meet with the president this afternoon. If the meeting doesn't favor them, they will not listen to their executive again.
All right, thank you so much. We do appreciate. So as I intimated earlier, commercial transport operators began their sit-down strike today. Yes, they are calling on the government to scrap some levies on fuel. For the past 6 months, the fuel prices has increased significantly in this country. And so today, drivers protested, and they are saying the decision wasn't meant to commuters, but rather for better condition for the drivers. Let's go for a quick breather. When we are back, the news continue.
Hello? Okay, why? My wife comes and send a message to you. Hello? What's happened?
It's a child who's be a quiet say what?
We signed for a friend. I'm so here. You have not tested messages here. And my office also. I'm trying to tell man. She says, I
mean, so we a guy man and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Ghana.
What's it name? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Yet to borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Naso, Yeye B, Frey 0240 333 111 and Nasa 0244 144 822.
Miampa and you want to be me see. We want to you be there. Family drilling now. Family drilling.
What fashion yala shit?
We are doing that shit.
Thanks. Staying now, still on our local front, President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has appealed to the World Trade Organization to grant viewers or waivers to African countries interested in the production of COVID-19 vaccines. Speaking at the Flagstaff House during a two-day visit to Ghana, President Ramaphosa further called for review of intellectual property rules and protocols surrounding the production of vaccine. To him, this will enable the continent to produce its own vaccine for the population.
And we've touched on a whole range of matters, bilateral, between our two countries, and also continental as well as global issues. And we had an occasion to recall the historical and strategic links between our two countries. Our relationship is not yesterday's relationship. It emanates deep into history. Ghana played an important role in our struggle against oppression, apartheid, and colonialism. And Ghana became a home and a refuge to many South Africans who came here for refuge, for education, and also for cultural activities. And as you say, President, that Miriam Makeba, our national icon, who is now departed, as well as Hugh Masekela, your very, very good friend who also has departed, made Ghana their home, and they sharpened their own cultural prowess also here in Ghana. And so that increased the bond and the linkage between our two countries. During the years of struggle, we also always looked up to Ghana as a beacon of hope, a beacon of democracy. And today we continue to see Ghana as being a real citadel of democracy and good governance and rule of law. And we as South Africans who are still young in our democratic journey have a lot to learn from Ghana, and we always watch with great admiration at the achievements that Ghana is making in this regard. So coming here for us means that we want to deepen our relationship with
Away from that, a farmer in the Nkwanta South municipality of Yoti region in Boreja Doke Ketawa has been adjudged the best farmer in Nkwanta South at the 37th edition of the National Farmers' Day celebration. Now, in an interview with Pan African News, the 2021 Best Farmer in Nkwanta urged the youth to venture into the old age profession because of its lucrative nature.
Mbore Jadogo Kitwa is a farmer who has grown an 18-acre yam farm, 18-acre cassava farm, 6-acre maize farm, 10 acres of groundnut, 10-acre cashew farm, 4 acres of teak, and innumerable livestock. According to him, farming runs through his family, and the achievement of his father, a one-time Best Farmer awardee, inspired him to success.
Ti amakasho no ebuame banchi epushime bare epushime nkati epushime me wonantwe anti me wonjwan me wonkoko me wonpanchi ti normal no bebre na me wo me nsa me bebo ne din kura me yiro be fe bi kura di emoko nyina me do mafo anti ehye me nkura si me fa ha na skaba me nsam kakra me fa ha na skaba me nsam kakra ana ye papa na na don kwa kufado asa di project wa ba no na no dia mada so kura anti ne ehye me nkura pass me nkwala no aba bia omu egusu ko na ma ho si free education so asa ba aka ho nti asasi me isu me de me koma ni mu a nti enu nti ana me tresi ekua no ema emabo no ena yesi yen papa no no omo sorry no omo dokua anti adwuma na wonso papa ye na anibie abanti na school we abeji wiasemu nyina atre na so papa boa na adwuma anu sika na odi ahwe osu siko school wako school afa na wakwadane okromfo afa na okwakwa twintuo si obiso a na just wanya hwe.
The MCE for the Nkwanta South Municipality also encouraged farmers to learn how to use the technology system of farming and has promised to do his possible best as MCE to support the farmers in the constituency.
Ema wasi ya tutu ye ama sada itumi baso wani jeni asumje mu no yebeye eno nti wani tua bibia ekoso ye ama bibia ekodadi nso
yo honorable afie beba no ede ne hwe se municipality na na assembly no ebeye e de aboa ekua form won Nkwanta South Municipality
yare covid-19 ama biasi nyina ho akiro mo sikasem fam no em se yani da so ni se afia eba no yare no so ebeti anampo ebeko kra said the beya yesika sem betimi agina ne nan so yesika sem agina ne nan so a award na ye de bemma akuafo no em say ubehu improvement also afi die no so en say da anye bad sa e ko yie o hwe ne onya first award motokin second one motorbike and afi nyoma bebre nso ekeka ho sa e copy no sha say best soya bean farmer no. Award na yedi mae no eye.
The best female farmer from Nkwanta South Municipality, Ohenewa Cynthia, also admonished the young women to desist looking down on farming and venture into it.
I'm right about me didn't say me na be a best female farmer. I need you papa because e graduate no na enye easy. And therefore na so ma farm wa fimunu mu na and ya be go me didn't say me na be best. E ya nije kese ma me pa.
Na
mpacho me wo afuti amede ma mba se omo hwane a Ghana ye didindi omo farm ho nje akwa adwuma mu because akwa adwuma ema ahokyere free ya farm epama ahokyere kura kyekye nti mabu no omo hwane me ya baba o life pa na da municipal na so ni nyina mu sana Ghana ye didindi me de me ho agi akwa adwuma mu.
A private legal practitioner, Osman Al-Hassan, has stated that the bills generating controversies in the 2022 budget statement include the introduction of the GPRTU, ACADIO, and electronic transactions levy. In an interview with Pan African Television, he also added that these controversies would have some repercussions on the country.
Osman Al-Hassan
added that there should have been stakeholder consultations before the presentation of the 2022 budget statement. Speaking on the legal implications of the budget, he emphasized that currently the approval or rejection of the bill can only be resolved by the Supreme Court before any implementation can take place.
And especially with the taxes it introduced. You know, usually the argument has always been that government uses our taxes to engage in development. But the question of development and what kind of development we do is not normally discussed, and how that aid the people to continue to be able to pay tax. And I think the second aspect that generates controversy is the reintroduction of the GPRTU. It's also in the budget. Now this has gone on back and forth over the years. But the question is, why would that generate controversy now? And that is supposed to mortgage our natural resources in the name of a private company in a certain transaction that's not comfortable with the people of Ghana. And this has been demonstrated over the years. Many Ghanaians are not interested in that transaction. So that is the other aspect of the budget that generates controversy. Then we have the introduction of the acre deal. And I'm saying these things because these are the controversies it generates actually in Parliament and raises the issues of consensus building, which is the acre deal is trying to transfer some of our oil fields to a company that already has it. Now the company has it and want to transfer it back to us because that company is of an origin that is prevented now to go into production of fossil fuel because of the energy transition policy. And the terms of that transaction are harsh for the country. And so it also engaged controversies even before today. So these are some of the things that the budget introduced. And then the third one is the e-levy, actually, which seeks to tax almost everybody who engaged in electronic transaction of money. And so when that happens, it has a lot of repercussions. And so for me, the budget has brought a lot of, it's likely to bring a lot of hardship on the people without the requisite opposite development that we expect. And the last thing is that, you know, reluctance in paying tax has not always been the inability to pay tax per se, but most people have concern about paying tax because of how the tax money is used by the government. I mean, this is a government which has been in power for almost 5 years. And so the question is, what have you done with the money that you have had from borrowing, from the other sources of income for the government within the country? What have you done with it over the years? And how will this make the difference? And so for me, the budget needs a review. It has to be people-centered and not to continue taxing the people to generate, to service funds, to service debts that are actually not justifiable.
He further added that the levying of paying taxes on citizens, directly or indirectly, should not warrant an introduction of additional taxes, as the main reason for taxation is to create more revenue for the government to work with. Nasrin Zankawa reporting for Pan-African News.
Meanwhile, on interrupted Parliament last week, he admitted that the legislator is only following its own procedures, which is not the best approach in addressing the budget.
Parliament is the representative of the people. The budget is for the people. And the Constitution clearly says that the executive powers of government must be exercised for and in behalf of the people and for their welfare. And so once Parliament is one of the most direct representatives of the people apart from the President, it becomes a check for whatever the executive does, the government does. And so when you want to tax the people or you want to use the people's money, it has to go to the representative of the people for them to go through it and debate it and approve it or reject it. Now, as we speak, when the budget and the government economic policy went to Parliament, we all know what happened. One section of Parliament rejected the bill, rejected the budget. Another set of members come to approve the budget. So the question is, do we have two decisions of Parliament regarding the budget, or we have one? And if we have one, which one supersedes the other? So at this point in time, I think there's a conundrum we have to resolve. But we don't have to be legalese about it. I think the government has to adopt a consultative approach, a consensus building approach rather than litigation. Because if you litigate the Constitution in Parliament, you will come to naught. Because interestingly, we have a hung Parliament. We have a Parliament of equal membership on both sides, with one independent whose decisions can swing anywhere at any time. And I think I must make this clear. That independent candidate has not joined the MPP caucus.
That's all on our local front. Coming up is business. Executive Officer for the Chamber of Agribusiness, Anthony Morrison, has accused the government of failing to implement promised policies in the 2021 budget. Speaking at the 4th edition of Ghana Agribusiness Excellence and Leadership Awards, he indicated that should the government and successive governments commit fully to fulfilling promises made to the sector, challenges in the agricultural sector will be addressed marginally.
The e-system is hinged on delivering agricultural information and knowledge services such as market prices, extension services, technology, policies, programs and projects using the internet and its related technologies. The mission of leveraging technology in all sectors, including agriculture, has birthed the e-agriculture project that seeks to ensure efficient delivery of services to farmers and also actors along the agricultural value chain to enhance productivity and output for greater profitability. Dr. Efiye Akoto emphasized that the e-levy is an important strategy for accelerating our efforts towards the realization of modernization and transformation agenda for agriculture to contribute to the objectives of job creation, food security, and poverty reduction. He indicated that hikes in prices on the international market on agricultural products such as fertilizers and agrochemicals, both of which were critical to achieving the transformational agenda, as challenges. Dr. Efiye Akoto assured that his ministry is working tirelessly to stabilize the agricultural situation in the country and will continue working with private sector and other development partners to deliver and transform an agenda which will ensure food security and build a resilient food systems and support farmers in particular.
Coming up next is international news.
Hello? Okay, wait a minute. Why? My wife comes and send a message you. What is going on with me? Hello? What's happened?
It's a chance to be a quiet say what? I did say,
we signed for a friend. I'm so here too. You have not tested messages here. And my office also. I'm trying to tell man. She says, I
mean, so we a guy manu and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it then? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Nasu, ye be Fraye 0240-333-111 and NASA 0244-144-822.
Miampa and we want swimming pool on me see. We want to be there. Family Drilling now. Family Drilling.
Breakfast is your last shit.
African Center for Capacity Building, AFCAP, organizes the following executive and advanced certificate programs like Executive Certificate in Project Management, Executive Certificate in Human Resource Management, Executive Certificate in Real Estate and Property Management, Executive Certificate in Data and Records Keeping, Executive Certificate in Monitoring and Evaluation, Executive Certificate in Logistics and Transport Management, Executive Certificate in CCTV Monitoring and Installation. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority. For registration and enquiries, please call 0244-405047, 0242-135533. We have our branches in Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, and Wa. Saturdays and weekdays sessions are available. Admission is still in progress. Enroll now. Join the African professionals. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
Now let's do some international news. Omicron, a new SARS-CoV strain, first detected in the Gauteng province of South Africa, has been acknowledged by the World Health Organization as a variant of concern. Now this is about the most concern the organization can show at this early stage of emergence of this variant.
Already, cases have been reported from other countries, indicating that Omicron is unlikely to get contaminated geographically. If it outperforms Delta in creating new infections, it may replace it as the dominant variant in COVID-19 infections, as Delta did to earlier variants. With huge numbers unvaccinated in the poorer countries as a deliberate policy, and the far-right opposing vaccination in various countries, the world could plunge again from recovery to another downturn. The World Health Organization has been warning us that vaccine equity is the only way to contain the pandemic. Unless we prepare and tweak our immune system to fight SARS-CoV-2 infections, the COVID-19 pandemic will continue with huge number of deaths and economic devastation. Let us not forget that the influenza epidemic killed 50 to 100 million in the world after the First World War. Almost half of that in India alone. Nature can provide immunity, as it did after a few years, but it comes at a huge societal cost. That is why vaccines for everybody is a necessity to stop the epidemic. Instead, we see the rich countries, the EU and UK, actively opposing the waiver on patents of vaccines and sharing the manufacturing knowledge so that poor countries can access at affordable cost these life-saving vaccines. The United States, while claiming to support such measures, has thrown its weight behind Pfizer and Moderna, who are making huge profits on the back of the pandemic. Just to put this in perspective, People's Vaccine Alliance has shown that Pfizer, BioNTech and Moderna will make pre-tax profits of $34 billion this year. A 93.5 million a day profit. How this amount could have vaccinated the entire population of low-income countries. Their bare figures are based on the latest company reports released by the pharmaceutical CEOs during their annual ST80 summit, the equivalent of a big pharma Davos, from November 16th to 18th this year. While ripping off the people who desperately need vaccines, People's Vaccine Alliance shows that the Pfizer, BioNTech and Moderna have delivered less than 1% and 0.2% of their vaccine supply to low-income countries. The rich countries believe somehow they can insulate their population from the pandemic, even if it rages in poorer countries. This is based on the belief that the supposedly superior mRNA vaccines produced by Pfizer, BioNTech and Moderna will provide nearly full immunity to their population. The Omicron variant has shown that the spike protein, which helps the virus stick to the cells that line our nose and upper respiratory tract, can and does evolve with time. This makes infections easier as the virus becomes more transmissible and possibly helps vaccine escape, as most vaccines target the spike protein. Omicron has shown more than 30 such mutations in spike protein. It is and are therefore relatively immune to changes in the virus itself. Thus, we are far better placed in terms of pharmaceutical interventions, in science and technology terms, now than when the pandemic began. What we lack is the political will to meet the pandemic health issue. Instead, we have vaccine nationalism, ghoulish companies that want to make super profits from the pandemic, and countries that prefer to support profiteers at the expense of the health of the people. The private companies claim that if they are not allowed to make these super profits, there will be no incentive for future drugs and vaccines. This is simply a lie. Almost all the developments, either in vaccines or as drugs, have come from public domain science. The entire field of mRNA vaccines came from publicly funded research. The key research, based on which Moderna has developed its vaccines, was done by the U.S. National Institute of Health. There is a major dispute on this between Moderna and NIH on a key patent that Moderna has filed. This is apart from the Moderna receiving vast public funds for developing the vaccine. Even more narrowly, BioNTech, the small German company led by a Turkish origin husband and wife pair, developed this particular vaccine with a German government grant. This is their first commercial product. It is a BioNTech vaccine that Pfizer piggybacked on with its marketing and manufacturing muscle, securing worldwide rights. The vaccine is now wrongly known as the Pfizer vaccine, even though it had no role in its development. It is not different for the development of antivirals either. The original research for molnupiravir was done by Emory University. Similarly, most antivirals used against HIV, some of which are being repurposed for SARS-CoV-2, have come from public domain science.
Credit to our international partners. The People's Dispatch Sports is next. The president of the Federation Association of International Football has revealed that the video assistant referee will be used in a final phase of the 2022 Africa World Cup qualifiers.
At the Extraordinary General Assembly of the Confederation of African Football, CAF, in Cairo, Egypt, Infantino disclosed that FIFA is making efforts to enhance the quality of matches, and introduction of VAR is one of the measures. He stressed that FIFA and CAF will use the technology in the playoff to improve officiating in those matches. The stage of the African World Cup qualifiers will see an improvement in refereeing performance due to the use of the VAR. The draw of the playoff will be held in January next year after the African Cup of Nations.
Up next is entertainment. Festivals celebrated for a wide variety of reasons are usually associated with singing, dancing, drumming, and firing of musketry. Now, on today's showbiz segments, let's shift our attention on GREWAL, celebrated by the Wodoabe.
Wodoabe is a Fulani tribe in Niger whose males are regarded as very vain because they believe that they are the most handsome set of men who always carry mirrors around. In the tribe, marriage is always contracted in infancy, and the women can have as many sexual partners as they desire before marriage. The tribe holds an annual festival called GREWAL, during which men dress elaborately, wear makeup, and hold a beauty pageant. During the festival, the men also dress to impress the wives of other men. The culture believes that beauty can be judged by the whiteness of the eye, the firm straight bridge of the nose, and white teeth. Therefore, the makeup done is to accentuate these features. Before the festival begins, it takes the men 6 hours to prepare and get ready so they can dance and show themselves off. They paint their faces with red clay, use eyeliners to make their eyes appear whiter, and wear a shade of lipstick that will make their teeth appear whiter. They also wear white ostrich feathers in their hair, making them appear taller. During the festival, 3 of the tribe's most beautiful women are chosen to judge as the men display through a dance, moving in circles. Other women, already wives of other men, admire the men they most desire to choose as their second husband. If a man successfully steals a wife without being caught, the man automatically becomes their husband and the union is accepted. The tribe is a polygamous one, hence the wife stealing is widely accepted. In spite of this, some men do not wish their wives to be stolen and so do not allow them to participate in the festival.
Well, that's all for this afternoon's Pan-African News with me, Ivy, Abena, Dede, Narki. Do join us 6:30 p.m. on Newsbreak for more news update. Follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook at Pan-African Television, on Twitter at Pan-African Television, and on Instagram at Pan-African Television. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.